Gratiana de Baroneccia was tried for witchcraft after she had already died, convicted, and then cleared within a year. Her case was not an ordinary dispute. It moved through a witchcraft accusation where the court kept working even though she was no longer alive to appear. That meant the legal process continued without the accused present. The record still reached a conviction based on the court's own proceedings. Within a year, that judgment was undone. Her conviction was formally absolved, reversing the outcome in the same legal record. Her name ended up carrying both marks at once, condemned after death, then cleared soon after. The surviving record is the contradiction itself. The author of Tristram Shandy signed entire print runs of his books, not just one copy. Readers and buyers wanted proof that the books were genuine, not just another printed edition. So he used his own signature as authentication, turning a handwritten mark into the edition's guarantee. That meant the whole run carried his personal approval, not just a single special copy. The value of those books came from the author's hand, because the signature itself proved the edition was real. The operator of the Roby house sold its bricks to help pay for renovation. The house needed money for preservation work, and the operator had to find a direct way to raise it. The solution was simple. Pieces of the building became fundraising material sold as bricks instead of left in the wall. That sale raised money for renovation, tying the building itself to the cost of saving it. Instead of being replaced, the Roby house was preserved with help from its own original material. Yundi won first prize at the 2000 International Chopin Piano Competition, after 15 years with none awarded. This was not a general music prize, it was a piano competition built around Chopin, and its own first prize had been missing for a long stretch. The decisive detail was simple: the competition had gone 15 years without naming a top winner. Yundi's result ended that gap. His win restored the first prize to use. The award was no longer a missing line in the competition's record. That made the victory bigger than one performance. It changed what the competition itself had been able to claim for 15 years. Doctors forbade John Nagy from competing in sports, yet he became an Olympic weightlifter. That warning put his athletic future under a medical restriction, not a lack of ambition. He still moved into weightlifting, the sport that carried him all the way to the Olympics. That Olympic appearance turned the original advice into a documented reversal of expectation. The record left a simple contrast: a man once told to avoid sport became an Olympic competitor in weightlifting. A synagogue-turned-church was marketed for sale as a potential nightclub. That building had already changed roles before the listing. It began as one religious space, then served another, so its identity was never fixed to one use. The sale framed the property as commercial space, not just a preserved landmark. In a listing, that meant a future use could outrun the building's original purpose. A potential nightclub was one possible next use. The language of the sale pushed the building toward a new market even before any conversion was confirmed. What remained was a place whose layered history no longer matched its advertised future. The building had become a property first and a religious space second. A 13th-century painting, Autumn Colors on the Quay and Hua Mountains, inspired imitations for 7 centuries. That long reach is unusual because the work belongs to the 13th century, yet later artists kept treating it as worth revisiting. The painting did not survive as a single admired image alone. It became a model, and copying a model is how artistic influence travels. Over time, those returns added up across changing eras, with imitations continuing through the centuries after the original was made. Its afterlife is the answer: one painting, 7 centuries of copies, because it became a standard worth measuring against. Arlecchino in Gentian Impact was named after an Italian commedia dell'arte stock character. Commedia dell'arte was a long theatrical tradition built around fixed roles and recognizable stage types. Arlecchino is one of those names, carried forward through performance culture. The game uses that name as a cultural reference, not as a direct link to a real historical person. The borrowing happens through naming and character design. That choice connects a modern game character to older European stage culture. A name from the theater now travels inside a digital world. So Arlecchino becomes a clear example of cultural borrowing across time. One stage name survives inside pop culture, still recognizable centuries later.